Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of writing linear equations. This is standard A.2C in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 15 of the 2022 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have a graph showing a linear function here. We need to find which equation best represents this graph. And they've given us 2 points. They haven't necessarily plotted them for us, but they've at least cut away the guesswork of is that really a point or is it kind of missing the intersection of the x and y coordinates. So let's plot these two right here. All right, so we've got an x of 4, y of 0. So that's our x-intercept. Not super helpful. If we had a y-intercept, that would have been helpful. We can see what a y-intercept does kind of look like up there. Looks like it's going to be at 7, but they didn't give it to us, so we don't necessarily need to have it. And so we've got 8 and a y of -7. All right, so those are our 2 points, and all we need are 2 points. All of these are possibilities here because you notice that they're all negative slopes. You can tell this is a negative slope because it goes down from left to right. Sometimes you can eliminate an answer there. And it does look like that +7 is going to be one of my answer selections. +4 is right here, and that is definitely not my y-intercept. So you know what? We can at least eliminate right there. All I need to do, it looks like, is find the slope. Is that going to be -7/4 or -4/7? So we can do this 2 different ways since we have this graph. So let's do it using just numbers here. So m equals change in y over change in x. Rise over run. This is on your formula chart, and this is something we've been working with for multiple years now. So let's just go ahead and label these. I'm going to make this my x2 and my y2. And my x1 and y1 will be the 4, 0. So you want to go ahead and label them because if you invert one pair, then obviously everything gets messed up. So I've got -7 as my y2, -0 as my y1. I've got 8 as my x2, and I've got 4 as my x1. So then I've got -7 minus 0, that's just -7. I've got 8 minus 4, and there we go. -7/4. And so I said there were 2 different ways that you could do this, right? So we'll just go ahead and take it out of the numerator, make it look like this. It's the same thing, but that's the way you'll see it represented more often, is that negative off to the left rather than in the numerator or denominator. But it could be -7/4, could be that 7 over the -4. It all ends up being this right here. So there's really no difference there. So the other way would be just to visually look at the graph. We actually have the graph and we know what some points are, right? So change in y over change in x. Well, take a look. It goes from 0, my y, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going -7. And then my x, right, is going to the right. So that's going to at least be positive. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you also could just visually take a look at that and say, well, my slope has to be rise over run. -7 goes down 7, moves to the right, +4. So you could do it both ways. Then we need the y-intercept. So visually it does look like that 7 is going to work. So what happens if we don't have it? Well, there's a few different ways, but we can find the point slope form. I always kind of find that to be pretty simple. So y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Just take an x and y. Let's do that 4, 0. So y minus 0 is going to equal -7/4. That's my m. X minus my x coordinate of 4. Y minus 0 just becomes y equals. Now I just need to distribute that out. -7/4 x. And then these two become a positive. That cancels out. So +7. My answer here is B.